Rates are low, money's cheap, and home prices are coming down. This is good news for a lot of people and bad news for some. If you're on the fence or you haven't been on the fence or you're not prepared to buy a house, I'll share with you a couple of tips and tricks on what you can do to get ready over the next 6 months. Because what we're going to see in the next 6 months as we roll into 2026 is a buyer's market. Right now, we're right on the cusp of that. We're seeing about 6 months of inventory. Now, I know they say that the supply of homes is low and all this, but right now at the current rate that buyers are buying homes, if they didn't put another home on the market within 6 months, all those homes would be absorbed. Now, my 30 years of experience in the real estate business tells me, so I can tell you, that that's an all-out neutral market. Once we hit 7 months, and we're very, very close, we'll see that come February, March, it's going to be a buyer's market, and that's good news for you. So how you know and you can follow a lot of this stuff is you can look on realtor.com, you can look on Zillow, you can do all that. But at the end of the day, you just got to look at what are new home builders doing? What's new home construction doing? When they start incentivizing houses, and they do that, they give you closing costs and buy down your rate and that sort of thing on some of the new houses. When they start incentivizing houses, that means people are not buying their new homes at the rate that they should. The same goes for any market. I'm going to walk you through this house if you'd like. It's a $210,000 house. It's in South Louisiana, and you can purchase a house just like this. For example, VA, no money down, FHA, you only need 3.5% down. The seller can pay your closing cost on this. You can also do a USDA loan. That's a 100% loan program where many houses across the country and all states qualify for USDA loan programs. However, you are limited not by the house, but by your income. Now, something I want to debunk, and my name is Wayne Turner. I've been in the real estate business for 30 years. I only share that with you so you can know and have the confidence that what you learn from me is from actual real life experience. There's a reason why I got all this gray in the beard. I've sold thousands of houses, bought, flipped, built, sold, you name it, done everything in real estate. And I thought, you know what, I need to get on YouTube and share this information with you, because there's so many people out there on these channels that are young enough to be my children, and they're barking out about the housing market's going to crash, and it's untruthful information. Sure, they get a lot of thumbs up, a lot of likes, a lot of comments, and they might not like this video, but at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you the truth and the facts. The facts are, we're not going to see a housing market crash. And if you want proof in that, just go look at some of these people's videos that they're putting out there about real estate and how they were screaming that the housing market's going to crash 4 and 5 years ago, and we've yet to see a crash. You have to understand what caused a crash years ago is because they had BC lenders. They no longer have BC lenders. You know how when you go to a car dealership and you go to buy a car, if your credit is crap, it's in the 4s and 5s, they'll still give you a loan, but it's going to be a crazy high interest rate. They don't do that with houses. Right now, if you don't have a good credit score and job history, bottom line is you can't buy the house. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing. Your credit score has to be 620 or higher, and you can even do it with around 600 if you're doing a VA loan. The good news is we and lenders and a lot of good people out there can show you and tell you what you need to do and coach with you and talk with you and work with you, and there's no cost to do that. We get paid when you buy a house. Full disclosure. But I just think it's really frustrating for anybody to think the housing market's going to crash. You have to know that the current rate that people are buying and the current rate that people are selling, we're in no way close to even remotely having a housing crash. The way a housing market actually crashes is this. And if you want to, write this stuff there and grab a pen and a piece of paper. If anybody says anything, say, hey man, you got to check out that dude Wayne Turner's been in the business for 30 years. He actually knows what the hell he's talking about. So here's why a housing market's going to crash, right? So they say, quote, it's going to crash. Housing market's going to crash when there's such a surplus of houses and nobody's buying, and those people have to sell. You see, you have to understand, there's people, 67% of the people that have a mortgage right now in the United States have less than a 5.25% rate. From 2009, literally, for 13 years, from 2009 to 2022, the mortgage interest rates never went over 5.25%. You have all these people that can afford their house. They were approved for a mortgage. They're not in a position where, if that, now don't get me wrong, do we still see foreclosures? Yes. Are foreclosures numbers up? Yes, they are. The reason for that is because we had a forbearance. Forbearance is where people can stop paying their payment, tack it on to the end of the loan. They'll kick the can down the road, give them 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. But what oftentimes banks, mortgage companies don't tell people is when your payment is due, all the payment is due, all the money is due. So all your payments collectively that you didn't pay over 6 months are due. And who can pay that? If you can't pay that, guess what? You got to leave. Now, another upside, and I'll get off of this rant about housing crash, is people have equity in their home, what they bought their houses for and what they're selling for. Just like you and anybody else. Give me a thumbs up on this one. Do you think houses are overpriced? Do you think houses are expensive? Houses are expensive. This house right here, it's $210,000. Man, I remember when they were selling for $96,000, and that was 12, 13 years ago. So yeah, they've doubled in 12, 13 years. The good news is they're still going up. We're still seeing an average of 4% appreciation nationwide. Home prices are actually not falling. They're not dropping. And so what we're seeing is an actual increase, especially like when it comes to new home sales and new construction. Those are becoming even more expensive. The moral of the story is quite this. Do you buy a house if you want to buy a house? But I'm here to tell you on this channel that you can purchase a home. You need a 620 or higher credit score. You need 2 years on the job. You need tax returns. They're going to look at your income. They're going to look at your debts. And they're going to qualify you based on what you earn after you pay your monthly obligations. Now, they're not looking at cell phone bills. They're not looking at insurance payments. They're looking at what are you paying your creditors. And there's a percentage that they'll loan you for your mortgage. And the good news is, any good mortgage company out there, they don't charge you to look at your credit, to pull it, to qualify you, to get you approved, and to give you a loan. Now, as I walk you through this house, it's really important to know that your payment, principal, and interest is not going to change anytime. It's fixed. What does change is your taxes, your insurance, all of that good stuff. And if you don't put 20% down, doesn't matter the type of loan, you're going to have to pay private mortgage insurance, unless, of course, it's VA. But do you like the video so far? Do you like my channel? Do you like this stuff? Give me a yes, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and most importantly, ask any questions. I answer all the questions. When y'all see the comments and the answers, that's me. I know I work late and get up early, and that's what we do. Nice big open living room, 10-foot ceilings. I always tell people to do 9 and 10-foot ceilings. Nice big open kitchen, granite countertops. A space right there for the refrigerator. Here's what's really cool. Always like this in a house. Nice utility room. And they even did a spot for a refrigerator, which is really cool. And of course, the back porch is covered. Engineered wood floors, real wood fireplace. So these homes are affordable. And to give you some hindsight, like for example, see that window, how it's kind of dirty, it's a little fogged? All you do is replace that pane. It's about $150. The seller can do that for you on just about any house. They want you to buy their houses. Big rooms, 9-foot ceilings, bath here, granite. And I won't bore you with just walking around the house. I try not to go too fast, but this is called a 5-piece. So you have shower behind the door, you have a closet here, so dual closets, garden tub, lots of natural light. And I always tell people, always do double vanities. Just good for the marriage, you know what I mean? A little space, everybody needs a little space, right? So let's jump back outside on the back porch. Now, don't get me wrong, we've all fallen on hard times, and there's people out there right now on hard times, but I'm just kind of exhausted with all the negative input and the negative titles and the negative thumbnails, and it's like, oh, hell, that's exhausting, man. You gotta be positive. I tell people my blood type is B positive, because at the end of the day, there's enough negative people out there in the world. You can purchase houses just like this, out in the country, if you will. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and it doesn't cost you a whole lot of cash out of pocket. Now, I've got a question for you as I walk around this house. I stay moving all the time, y'all. And a lot of these guys, they sit in a corner or their closet in their house, and hell, I just got to keep moving. Let me ask you this, a serious question. Would you rather a house in an HOA or out of an HOA? Because most people prefer out of an HOA. Like, I live in a community that has an HOA. The good news about an HOA is they have wonderful entrances. They keep up with everything. Oftentimes they have pools and playgrounds and all that stuff, right? The only negative is you got to get permission to ask what you're going to do on your house. And I don't care for that too much. It's my house. When you start paying my mortgage payment, you can tell me what to do in my home. And maybe you'll agree. If so, give me a thumbs up. This little house is not in an HOA, but you have to understand most homes are within city limits, and they're within county and parishes, and you have to basically abide by, you know, just respect your neighbors and respect others, and try not to be so loud and try not to make such a nuisance, and you know, don't hang engines and work on cars in your front yard when you got a neighbor right next door to you, because that's just not nice. So I'll tell you a quick story. Before you go signing a lease on anything in the next 3 to 5 months, you owe it to yourself to reach out to a lender and at least say, hey, I want to get approved. What's the process? A good lender will approve you. They'll walk you through the steps, walk you through the process, and it's super easy, because this is what you have to understand. If you're already in your lease and you extend the lease, that's fine, but it's hard to get out of those leases once you sign them, right? Ask your landlord, and isn't it funny that they still call it a landlord? A lord? I find that amazing. Ask your landlord, the person who owns a property, if you can go month to month. Many times you can do that. Just say, hey, I'm looking to purchase a piece of property, looking to purchase a home. Anybody will respect that because you're living in their dream anyway when you're renting, because they understand the value of owning houses, home ownership, even apartment complexes. But before you go sign a brand new lease, you have to understand that you typically pay your first month's rent, your last month's rent. There's $1,500. This house right here run you about $1,700 a month. That's with no money down. So if you're looking at $1,700 a month, you do that times 2, then you pay a deposit, then you pay a pet deposit, and then next thing you know, it's like, geez, you're out $4,000 when you can literally look at buying a house. Now, a lot of you are out there and you want to buy a house. You're like, Wayne, hell, tell me what to do. I'll tell you exactly what to do. Get your credit score up to 620. And how you do that is pay your bills on time, of course. That's the easy one. But the other thing you can do, and I'll put a link to a video at the end of this video, it's very important. It's just 10 steps of what you can do to get your credit boosted by 100 points literally in the next 60 days. It's really simple. And the cool thing is it's free, other than the fact of paying down your credit, paying down your credit cards. For one, it's just sell stuff, get radical. I mean, sell everything and pay off your minimum credit card balance. And then everything that you've been paying on that one, roll it to the next one and the next one and the next one. Don't even look at the interest rates. Don't make it confusing. Just look at what you owe and pay the stuff off. Student loans are not that bad because typically the interest rate's not crazy high on that. But if you have credit cards, you're paying 20 to 24%, and the faster you can get those paid off, the better you'll be. But you know, one thing I wonder, and I need your opinion on this, and chime in, like, why is it that when you go to buy a car, boat, motorhome, or anything like that, if you have bruises on your credit, if your credit score's in the 5s or high 4s, 5s, even sometimes low 6s, they try to run you through the ringer and give you these crazy interest rates. You see, they don't do that with houses anymore. If you remember, I mentioned that. They don't have what they call BC lenders. They do, however, when it comes to buying cars, boats, motorcycles, motorhomes. So if you got bruises on your credit, they'll gladly charge you 12, 14, 16%, which is kind of crummy because you got people that are falling on hard times. And I know a lot of people have. I have too, been there and done that, right? The frustrating thing is they wring you through the coals. But I guess when it comes down to it, you've shown proof in the past that you can't pay your bills or you got behind some way, whatever that may be, death, health, illness, divorce, whatever the circumstance. They don't really care. At the end of the day, the banks are in the business of making money. But look, money makes the world go round. I know a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't need money to live. Well, man, it's up there with oxygen, brother. I'm gonna tell you, you gotta have it to live. You gotta have a heartbeat, food, shelter, clothing, and some good old hard cash if you wanna live any kind of comfortable life. And I don't blame anybody for wanting to work, make a good living, and make an honest living, and make money. That's what it's all about, right? But when it comes to the housing market and the crash, we're going to see some good things for the residential market. If you're looking to buy a house, prices are actually coming down, inventory's going up, more homes to choose from. Builders are giving home buyer incentives. They're paying some closing costs. They're buying down interest rates, which is good. They're giving away flat screen TVs and appliances, all this cool stuff. Wherever you live, they're just about doing it in every city and every state. I can't say the same as far as crashing for commercial, because you can't help but wonder, are there going to be big box stores in the next 20 years? That may be a one you want to chime in on and give me your opinion. I personally am wondering if we're going to see big box stores in the next 20 years at the rate that storefronts on websites like Amazon and everybody purchasing from them. That's a whole nother topic. Maybe I'll jump into that next time. Until next time, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, leave your comment. Until next time, God bless.